I know very little about you. We've awkwardly stared at each other for the last 8 minutes.
It's everything about the concept is what we don't do anymore. We don't just have conversations with people where there's not an agenda. Right?
It's like meeting a stranger in a parking lot or something, and then like, hey, you want to have coffee?
Yes. Oh, so how you doing? How's your day?
Exactly. Well, we are live here, Coffee with Humans, with my soon-to-be new friend, Christina. She's still actually a stranger. I only met her about 8 minutes ago. That's the essence of Coffee with Humans. Two people just bumping into each other randomly and then saying, hey, let's grab coffee. Before we got on the broadcast, I was thinking if we could have this discussion anywhere, where would that be? And I came up with we could be sitting in Iceland in a hot spring.
Lovely.
If you could have this discussion anywhere, where would it be for you?
Love this question. I'm stumped right now. I'm not really a beach person in terms of getting in with the aquatic life, but I do like to be near it and feel the breeze from it. Okay. And so anywhere by a beach.
What drew you to clicking the button to have coffee with me?
Was searching and I found this one and it grabbed me, it pulled me in, and it just seemed, your podcast and Coffee with Humans seemed very welcoming, that you were really eager and enjoyed just making meaningful connections.
Coffee with Humans is like Sunday brunch.
I love Sunday brunch.
Okay, good. Because, well, you're in the right place. Only there's no food. You're live here with Coffee with Humans with my new friend, Brenden. Welcome to Coffee with Humans.
What's up, Jason? How's it going, man?
It's going well. Although, true story, have you ever used a mocha pot, an Italian mocha pot for making coffee?
I've been to Italy, but I've never used a mocha pot, though.
All right. Well, I gotta share this with you here so you can share in my pain. So this is a mocha pot.
Jeez.
You stick it on like the top of the burner.
Why?
Well, it makes like a nice rich cup of espresso, so it boils out the bottom here and then whoop, into the top, right? But true story, if you pack the coffee too tightly in there and it's too fine, then as the pressure builds from the bottom into this boiling mass, it just goes pow right out the top, and there's coffee everywhere.
Jeez. Is that what you use every day to make your coffee?
Most days, yeah, for sure. And so I have a tiny little bit of this delicious Turkish espresso in here. You can't really see it.
Ah, yeah.
So really finely ground, and there's about a third of my coffee on the stove. Just pow! But I didn't have time to clean it up because I was having coffee with you.
Wait, so does that happen every day where you kind of just make the coffee, then you have to go clean it up for 10 minutes?
No. No, this is an experiment. Usually you don't use such a fine grain on the coffee or grind on the coffee. You use like a medium grind, which allows the water to go through the coffee, but the coffee doesn't just like trap it all in there and build up the pressure. You're building like a rocket. You're building a coffee rocket on the stove as the water down there's just boiling. It's just like, let me out. And it's like, pow! Coffee. If it didn't have a top today, it just would have been coffee everywhere.
Shit.
All over the kitchen.
Damn, that's one hell of a process.
Yeah, it's not usually so bad. Just so if you ever get a mocha pot, don't use the super fine espresso grind. Not meant for that. Not meant for that. Just use a regular old coffee, just a medium grind. It'll be totally fine. It's delicious. It's rich. It's dark. Anyhow, do you drink coffee?
I'm actually more of a tea guy, so I guess I'm an intruder here. Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I live with my mom, so when I wake up, the tea's ready, and I always thank her for it. So life is good.
I want my mom to make me tea in the morning. If I had a mom make me tea, I wouldn't drink coffee probably.
That's true.
So
that's true.
So what kind of tea do you like?
I only drink one kind of tea, actually. I drink Black Label with no sugar. So I just drink. So it's black tea, essentially, every morning.
Straight up black tea.
I have like 3-4 cups a day. So I'm pretty nuts. And then after that, then I start again and repeat again the next day.
Yeah. Tea is apparently very good for you. Do you drink it for the health benefits?
I hear it, but I hear that it does have health benefits. I don't buy it. I think it's more just to stay awake. But I mean, I know there's less caffeine in tea than coffee. At least I think, anyways. Who knows?
There's caffeine in tea than most coffees.
There you go. It's confirmed. But I guess with the number of cups I have, I guess it doesn't really matter. Kind of all adds up anyways.
Yeah. Well, the mocha pot is worth like 3. It's like 3 cups of coffee. It's like 3 shots or maybe 2 shots of coffee. The third, well, as you know, the third shot is sitting on the stove. but the other ones. So curious, Coffee with Humans. What made you agree? What is broken in your head that made you agree to have coffee with me?
I just like talking to people, Jason. I think that's the thing with me is, especially with COVID, ever since COVID hit, I usually go to conferences or I do speaking engagements or I kind of meet people in like different parts of the world, like in person. And then I guess ever since COVID hit, well, there's not really any way to meet people. So I started just saying yes to every person who wanted me on their show. So I've been meeting a lot of interesting people. Like yesterday, a 15-year-old interviewed me, and she was like, "Wow, look amazing." She had like 3 sections to the podcast, and everything was well. And then you have other people that I just really hated, like on the other side of the spectrum, and they just go like, and they're like, "Why are there a podcast?" So yeah, I've met people from all sides of the spectrum, but overall, it's been a great experience.
That's awesome. So how did we meet? Was it
I think it was Matchmaker.
Matchmaker? Which still, I swear, sounds like a dating site. I know it's not.
I'm pretty sure it's a dating site. I'm sure. I bet you in like a year, someone's gonna get married off the site, and it's gonna be this huge YouTube ad.
You're on each other's podcasts.
Yeah, it's probably. I've actually met a lot of lifelong friends through Matchmaker. It's 2 in particular, from just meeting them on the show, and now we just talk every week. It's kind of.
So tell me about your show. What do you got? This says your title says Brenden from Master Talk.
Yeah, the reason it says that is because my last name, so many podcast hosts like don't pronounce it properly. And after the 50th time, I kind of just said, let me just change it.
I was gonna take a shot at it.
Oh, sure. You want to take a shot at it?
I'm gonna take a shot at it.
I can type it here.
Nope, I got it right here.
Oh, you have it? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna clear my throat though before I do it. Are you going to forgive me if I butcher it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're such a nice guy, honestly.
All right, so it's gonna Brenden Kumarasamy.
No, you're not close. It's Kumarasamy.
I was Kumarasamy. That makes more sense. It's spelled.
Yeah, it's actually not even exactly. I was about to say it's actually not that hard. It's funny, dude. When I was on some of these shows, it would literally be. Here we have Brenden from Brenden. Like, what the hell is this? I was like, at least ask me. Like, what? Yeah. So I just, like, that's the thing when I'm realizing. I'm sure you realize at some point in your life too. If you just get frustrated at everything, you just become a miserable human being. So I just changed it. When people say, how do you pronounce your last name? I just say Brenden from Master Talk. Well, I'll just be happy.
Yeah. There's no point in getting frustrated at everything.
Exactly. It's just. Yeah, as you can tell, pretty easy going.
The list of things to get frustrated about grows every day. If you choose to think of it that way. So you spent your COVID, I want to say COVID years because it feels like it, but I think it was just about 8 months.
Something like that.
9 months. We could have had a baby in this time.
I'm sure somebody from Matchmaker did.
Why are we stuck on? Why are we stuck on Matchmaker? So you've been just saying yes to people's podcasts. Who's the most what's the oddest conversation you've ever had?
Oh geez, don't get me started, man. I was on the show. I don't even know if I should say the show. Anyways, it was just let's just call it a show. So I get on the show and I call myself in. So it's not like, oh, let's meet on StreamYard or something. It's like the Skype call. And I have to call, so it's like we're at the scheduled time to meet, and I'm trying to chat him on Skype, and he doesn't reply. So after 5 minutes go by, I go, okay. So I just click call, and then I enter the call. So after I enter the call, there's nobody there. I know this is a true story. Nobody there.
Okay.
And then these weird sound effects start playing.
What?
And then his head appears out of nowhere, just his head. And then he goes, welcome to the show. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Anyways, he just starts asking me to do really bizarre things. Like he's like, do like a poem. And I just went, sure, fuck it, whatever. Be insane or be the same. And I just started this poem. And he's like, and he would say things like, Brennan, you understand what this show is about, unlike most people. And I just went, what the hell? Anyways, it was an interesting episode. It really taught me how to speak under high pressure situations. So yeah, the call, he just ended the call after 20 minutes and then it went on cable TV. It was the weirdest shit ever.
What? It was really is like a public broadcast thing?
Yeah, but I'm sure there's like 7 people watching it, but it's not a.
Well,
But yeah, it was.
when you can't sleep at night, you need something absurd like that to soothe your fears about tomorrow.
Yeah, that was probably the weirdest conversation I've had so far.
So Master Talk. What's Master Talk about?
Yeah, so Master Talk is basically a YouTube channel that I started to help people with their communication skills. And that's why I guess it's fitting for this show. Because I guess the goal that you're trying to achieve here, and feel free to correct me, is just so people can bring back the authenticity of conversations, right? How can we bring that secret je ne sais quoi? I'm a bit French, so it's like the je ne sais quoi of life.
Oh, je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais. Yeah, I'm from Montreal, so we all speak French.
Okay.
we all eat croissants every morning. Crap, I'm getting hungry. But anyways,
croissants and tea.
Yeah, literally, it's like the perfect life. We're very simple here. But anyways, the point is, when I was a kid, which wasn't too long ago, since I still am a kid, when I was at university.
Fair.
Anyways, I used to think of me like the Michael Jordan that nobody gave a shit about in presentations. Like I just presented all the time. And then when I graduated, I got a job in corporate America, I guess Canada in my case. I got all the wealth I wanted, retired my mother, and then I just said, what do I do with my life? And then I realized a lot of people sucked at communication. A lot of the content on YouTube sucked even more. So I just said, let me make some videos on YouTube. And it ended up helping a lot of people over time.
Yeah. Communication is key, I think, to achieving a lot of things in life. And yes, you are correct. Coffee with Humans is just about people getting together to have meaningful conversations. The old intro, which you did not get, said something like, we have the opportunity to do 3 things. We have the opportunity to name our present reality and name what we want in the future. We have the opportunity to create that future, and we have the opportunity to destroy things or get rid of things that are standing in our way to achieve that future. But we're just having a good time. That's a lot of what Coffee with Humans is about. Sometimes we discuss meaningful topics. Like yesterday, we discussed how we need to stay positive in our lives and what do we want to achieve in 2021. But then the other day we were discussing, where would we like to have this coffee chat? And I think he said around the beach, and I said a hot spring in Iceland. So
yeah, I saw that in the videos. Nice.
Yeah, I would like to go to Iceland. Have you been to Iceland?
No, I actually don't travel that much unless it's like a personal development conference. I'm like a big rah Tony Robbins guy, so I go to like a lot of these fun thing where everyone's just positive. You would like that. It would be like a fun shot of positivity. So I only travel for those things.
Yeah. Okay. Where's the last place you've been to travel to a rah Tony Robbins thing?
Yeah, I guess it's not. Well, it's like around that space. Just a good way to define. So I've been to San Diego, LA, and Ohio of all places, and then I was planning on going. Then COVID kind of hit, but I'll do it next year. Amsterdam, Jordan, a lot of these conferences. Some of these conferences are there, so I'm going to go to them next year.
Oh, interesting. What do you get out of those things? Why do you keep going?
I would say the biggest thing, besides the rah, which is great also, is it's just meeting awesome people in person. Like I just think there's something magical when I meet somebody like you in person. There's like it's a different type of energy.
Yeah.
Right. So, and what's fascinating about these types of conferences, because you have to really be committed, right? You take days off, vacation, like for your family, you book a hotel, you fly out, especially the one in Ohio, which is Lewis House's event. That's in the middle of nowhere. You can't do anything in Columbus, Ohio. You're only there for the conference. So let's say the guy has like millions of people listening to the show, his podcast or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The people who attend the event, there's like 1,500 people, which is still a lot. But those people are like super committed. So everyone's got like passions. Everyone cares about humanity. Everyone like holds their hand. It's like it's fun. Just a cool place to be.
Yeah. So you like the energy that kind of I don't know, is that the sixth sense? That energy when you're around other people that brings you up or takes you down or just leaves you in this malaise.
You
Yeah.
got it. I'm big on energy, and obviously there's other things that are less interesting for the audience who are listening, I guess, which is I found a business partner there and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think the big thing is just I just love the people who attend these things. It's what I always tell people on the topic of building authentic relationships. I think what a lot of people miss, Jason, is this idea that they need to get everyone to like them. Oh, if I go to this networking cocktail or this bar or club, I want everyone to know who I am. I want everyone to like me. But if you meet someone every couple of days for the rest of your life, let's say 100 people a year,
Yeah.
you live 50 more years. I'm sure you'll live longer than that, but let's say 50. You're going to meet 5,000 people. That's it. So I think the question is more, who do you want those 5,000 people to be?
Yeah. No, I think that's a good it's a good perspective. Yeah. So and sometimes we don't know what those connections are going to do for us. We don't know what we can add. That's the other thing. I think a lot of times people go to networking events or go into the rah Tony Robbins things, and they keep on thinking about what can I take, what can I take, what can I take, instead of thinking what can I give to this space, who am I, and how can I put that all into the pot.
I look at did you compare that to the coffee pot? It's just there.
You know what? I didn't, but let's talk about it. If you were a bean, what kind of bean would you be? You don't even know. You don't even know coffee beans.
I don't. It's actually it's a trick question. I guess black bean, is that a bean?
Sure. I don't really know. I don't know.
Wait, you asked the question. Okay, I see.
Okay, so what do you think about that? Going to these conferences and then considering what you're going to add to the space, or going to networking events, what you're going to add to the space versus what you're going to take from the space. How do you feel about that?
I'm very big on what you just said. I think what was fascinating when I went to my first event was just how nice everyone was. For me, before I went to the event, it was really about oh, what can I take away for this conference? Maybe I can learn something from the speakers. Maybe I can get some insight about how I should start the YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. But I think what I ended up realizing is, the experience is a lot more fun when you're just helping other people achieve what they want to do. And I think what's cool about these conferences, not everybody, but a good percentage of them are actually really serious about what they want to do. I met this one guy. I just said, "What do you want to do in life?" He's like, "My goal in life is to eradicate loneliness." But he said it with such a straight face, and I just went, "Wow." I was like, "And how are you going to do that?" He's like, and then he starts explaining his strategy, and I was like, "This is super cool." So it just ended up being more interesting for me, for me to help other people, especially in the context of what I do. A lot of these people can't afford a speech coach, so I just said, "Whoa!" If I was the bridge between all these people's ideas, be super fascinating. So yeah, I kind of just go there, have dinner with people, and just listen to their problems.
Yeah. I think one of the keys from that is to figure out what innately resonates in you, right? What's that resonant frequency of the thing that you want to bring to the space in that moment? And it could change over the years, but if we bring that whatever that thing is authentically to the space, the thing that we really get jazzed up about, people see that, and that jazzes them up as well. And that creates a space where we can add to each other's ideas, we can refine them, and we get the energy, the strength, kind of the chutzpah to move forward, rather than kind of getting tangled up in what you talked about originally, which is I hope that people like this thing. Well, if this is authentically me and I love what I'm doing and I really believe that I can make a difference in the world, then that gives me the confidence to not need your confidence.
I like that, man. That's powerful.
So what's 2020 meant to you?
Probably reflection.
Yeah.
I think the beautiful thing about this year is it allows you to really think outside of the status quo. And I think what a lot of us do is we wait for that shocking event, including me, by the way. We wait for that shocking event to happen to try and see if what we're doing makes any sense. Whereas I think what's great about COVID for a lot of us, including me, is it helps us see beyond that. And I think for me, the biggest takeaway was, just because I'm still sitting in a basement doesn't mean I still can't serve people.
Mhm.
Just because I'm sitting in a basement doesn't mean I can't meet new people. Just because I'm sitting in a basement doesn't mean I can still move forward. It doesn't mean I can't move forward with what I want to achieve, with my goals. So I think that's what COVID has really helped me realize. And obviously I'm fortunate, I still have my day job and all that stuff. I know a lot of other people have it much harder than I do. But I think the key is just count your blessings, be grateful, and whatever you've done in 2020, it's probably going to be a lot better next year.
Hopefully.
I
Who
mean,
knows?
the vaccine got approved. A lot of doses are already starting to go out to healthcare workers. So I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, for me, 2020, the phrase I use, and I like your phrase reflection, because it gave us that pause. It gave us that moment to not continue in our normal day-to-day habits, which immediately causes, whenever there's a habit disruption in an individual, there's an immediate question that follows. And that is the question of, what was I doing before and what am I going to do now? Because those it's two sides of that that same coin, right? It's that inflection point, like, oh, now what? That's maybe the core question. So disruption causes now what, which usually leads to changed behavior. So there's a study recently that 50% of people changed their core brands, their brand affiliations during COVID, because their normal habits, the things that I was just like, well, I just go to that place, I just do that thing, I just buy that stuff. All of a sudden it was like, oh, wait a second, what do I do now? What? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm not going to buy this thing. I'm going to buy this other thing because I'm shopping online and I want to find, oh, that's cheaper. What? Or I'm not going to go to that fast food restaurant because I'm not driving by there anymore. All those brand affiliations, 50% of people changed their brand affiliations this past year, which is an interesting study, important for brands, but it represents what happens in a person's mind when they come to that. The habit change leads to now what? For me, much like yours, I think my in my reflection, I came across this phrase called I used to say love my journey. Now I say love your journey, and it's Jason talking in the third person to Jason, right? So it's like the kind Jason over here is talking to me saying, love your journey, man. Like, love your journey, right? And it's also, you can kind of feel it to everybody else too. It's like, love your journey. Wherever you're at on that journey, just love it. Because if you don't love it, you're going to kick against some things that you can't change, which makes no sense. And you're not going to go with the things that you can because you're just not loving the journey. And so if you're constantly long for a different place, sometimes you end up not just embracing where you're at. And that I think is that's my phrase for this year. Love your journey.
That's powerful, man. Love it.
So
so if one side is kind Jason talking to just Jason, who's Jason? Or is that mean Jason?
No, not necessarily, but there's critical Jason.
Oh, critical Jason.
He's not mean. He's just critical.
He's just a bit critical. Okay.
So I think one of the takeaways that I've had in my life and is the idea of being kind to yourself, right? So we always talk about being kind to others, and many people have a hard time being kind to others, but we are as people very unkind to ourselves. And when we can exercise kindness to ourselves, we're more likely to be a good friend to ourselves. And no one wants to hang around the bad friend. No one wants to hang around the unkind friend. So if you're unkind to yourself, all of a sudden you become, I think, a little stuck and a little upset with yourself. So love your journey. Be kind to yourself. Yep.
I love that.
Yeah. So do you like, have you heard of Mad Libs?
I think I've heard the term before. I don't know what it means though.
You're probably, what are you? I'm gonna say are you late 20s?
24. Close.
Mid.
You're like, whatever, man.
Can I just call you late? No. Okay. So you're mid 20s, but you're more mature than a mid 20-year-old. So
sure. I'll take that as a compliment.
Good. It's meant to be one.
There you go.
So when I was younger, there was a thing called Mad Libs. They just came out where we pick out names and we pick out like nouns and verbs and adverbs and adjectives, and we just fill them in, and then we would fill them in, and then all of a sudden it makes like a story. So I'm gonna you up for a game?
Sure, let's do it, man.
Boop. All right. So I just grabbed a website here. I grabbed a website here so we can choose together. This is madtakes.com. Madtakes.com. It's some random place I came at. 188 free online ad lib word games. So we're gonna choose one. We're gonna choose one here. We got the Walmart difference.
The Walmart.
Which one stands out to you?
I like Love Letter 4.
Okay. All right. You asked for it. Okay. So now we're gonna fill out these things. So person in room. I'm gonna do Brenden. You get to choose the next one. Adjective.
Adjective. Now I sound stupid. I'm like thinking of an adjective.
Modify noun.
Blue.
There you go. Yeah. Verb. We'll go back and forth.
Go back and forth. Go for it.
Verb. Run, to run. Yes, that's a verb.
Sure.
Part of the body.
Leg.
Number. And noun.
Noun. Apple.
What the hell is going on here?
Yeah,
Verb. Quickly.
Oh, another verb.
No.
Slow. Oh, wait, is that a verb?
Yeah.
How about jog?
Jog. We got run. We got jog. I don't know where this is headed. Pronoun plural. Oh,
Yeah, I gotta go back to English class.
yes.
Other person in the room. Oh, that would be Jason, Mr. Todd.
All right, Mr. Todd, don't do that to me. All right. I hope this thing works. I haven't clicked these buttons. Okay, so go mad. This is going to create the ad lib. You are extremely blue, and I run you. I want to kiss your leg 10 times. You make my apple burn with desire. When I first saw you, I quickly stared at you and fell in love. Will you jog out with me? Don't let your parents discourage you. Geese are jealous. Yours forever, Jason.
So is this what you used to play in university, Jason? Is this kind of like a...
There would be little paper. There would be these little paper things that you would. It was like a book, and so you could just like, little paper thing, and you'd fill them in, and then like take it on car rides or whatever.
That's cool. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's do another one. We'll do another one here. That was this love letter thing. That's weird, dude. All right. I would choose the Walmart difference.
Sure, man. Is this episode sponsored by Walmart? Is that why?
This episode's not sponsored by anybody. The Walmart difference. Verb. Shoot. Verb.
Oh wait, let me do the verb because
okay.
I don't know adjectives, so I gotta go back to English class. How about cook?
Adjective. Green.
Noun. Plural. Orange. Jizz.
Jizz. Adjective. Smoky.
Ing.
Preventing an ing. Yeah.
Huh. I'm only thinking about running. Is there another one? Jumping. Let's do
Jumping. Jumping. Verb. Yeah, to fly. To fly.
Number 7.
Adjective. Shoot, what's
I'm so happy you're doing the adjectives. This worked out so good.
I
Trim.
was gonna say trimmed, but that's weird.
The only adjectives that come to mind are like colors.
Smashed.
Noun. Noun plural. A light. Bulb.
Light bulbs. Bikes.
Cameras. I'm just pointing at stuff in my house now at this point.
Relative. Fathers. Plural.
Is sturdy
Yep.
an adjective?
It is an adjective. Sturdy. It would be flimsy.
Noun. Let's see. Couch.
All right, here we go. Come cook at Walmart, where you'll receive green discounts on all your favorite brand name oranges. Our smoky and jumping associates are there to fly you 7 hours a day. Here you'll find smashed prices on the light bulbs you need, bikes for the moms, cameras for the kids, and all the latest electronics for the fathers. So come on down to your sturdy, flimsy Walmart, where the couch come first.
Wow.
That's silly. That's dumb.
That's really strong.
Strong. You sure?
How did you find this game?
You know what? I remembered ad libs from a long time ago, and I decided that I would play ad libs at some point in time. So we're playing ad lib or Mad Libs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, and you also didn't have pad of paper, so we're not playing Whatchamajraw.
Yeah, I didn't have pen and paper, unfortunately.
You don't know what you're missing, though.
Times are tough, man.
Well, maybe 2021 is your year where you have pad of paper.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
So I'm curious. You're a speech coach. Okay. To whom?
Oh, mostly executives. But I think the bigger message here is not really executive coaching or anything like that. It's more about just, if you have an idea worth sharing, and I think this is a great conversation space for that. Have that conversation. That's what I want Master Talk to be,
Like what? What kind of conversations?
Yeah, I think so many people, Jason, in our world seek so much validation from other people in their lives that they don't actually seek the people that make them happy. Right? And I think because our brain is wired for survival, we're really scared to leave our home base, the people that we started with, in search of the people that we want to have these powerful, meaningful discussions. And by the way, by powerful, meaningful discussions, I don't mean what is the meaning of life, Jason, but rather saying, like, if you're a stamp collector, chances are you'll probably want to talk about stamps for some part of your day. But if you don't know other stamp collectors, it kind of removes that quality, that potential that you have, that happiness that you can get. And that's part of what Master Talk is the idea of, I want to give people that confidence to say, yeah, I'm pretty sure other stamp collectors would like me too. I mean, I collect the same things they do. I have the same collections they do. I drink the same coffee, and I prepare it with the same mocha cup that everyone else does. Wouldn't it be fascinating if we all just kind of met our tribe? And I'm lucky in the sense that the people that I want to meet end up being at formalized events, like Mind Valley events or Tony Robbins events. But I want that for everybody. If you like collecting stamps, I hope Master Talk in this conversation, or what you're doing in general, gives people the confidence to go seek out those people.
What is it about your journey that has led you to this current understanding?
I think for me, the biggest thing I always recommend people to do, and the habit that I like to use that I think has made me relatively woke, is asking myself a hard question every day. Questions like, what are you pretending not to know? If you had all the money in the world, how would you spend your time? If you died tomorrow, what would your funeral speech say about you? And if you were God, what would you do first and why? I think by asking these questions, it leads to reflection, and it leads to insights that are unique to you. And once you find those insights, I think you'll just be a more happier person because you'll know what you actually want out of life. Because everything society conventionally wants you to do is mostly wrong, and most people who are normal aren't very happy.
So you're 24 years old.
That's correct.
What has happened in the 24 years of your life that would that has contributed to this understanding or this desire to ask those questions?
Yeah, I think for me it's just overall curiosity, man. Like I've always been like, for example, when I was a kid, I questioned my mom's religion a lot, and we used to get into fights all the time. Be like, but why is this? Why is that? Or why is this happening? And then over time, it ended up being different things. Like I learned about the concept of skepticism when I was 18. It's like, oh, you should question things. You should develop critical thinking. I was like, what is this critical thinking thing? So essentially, one question led to more questions, which led to more. And I would say the most important one I've answered is the one that Lewis Howes asked on his show. And the question is called the three truths. So every guest he has on the show, the question goes something like this. It's a bit long form, but I'll kind of summarize. Basically what it is, it's your last day on earth. You've accomplished everything you wanted out of life. This could be family, money, doesn't really matter. And then it's time for you to go. But before you go, for some reason that we don't understand, everything that you've done in life gets erased. That could be your books, your podcasts, the show, everything just gets wiped out. So we have nothing to remember you by. But there's a piece of paper next to you, luckily, with a pen, and you can write down 3 things that you believe to be true about life based on all of your experiences. And that's the only piece of paper that we'll have to remember you by. What 3 truths would you write on that piece of paper? So that question led me to develop my own 3 truths. And then it led me to a rabbit hole of a bunch of other questions. And now I have a sea of like 250 questions that I ask myself all the time.
And how has that changed you?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing for me is it's changed me in this idea of carving what I uniquely want out of life. And I'll give you the best example. Right. Another thing I recommend people do is create your own list of happy tasks, like things that actually bring you joy. Because what you realize in that exercise that nobody does, by the way, you realize that your list is very unique. So I'm happy to share mine just for context. I love clubbing. That's why I miss it a lot. Even when I'm 60, I'll probably go clubbing. I don't drink at all. I just love dancing for 7 hours straight. I karaoke in 8 different languages. I dance alone in my basement all the time. I take mini dance breaks with my sister. And I yell at my friends at restaurants over controversial questions about life, despite whether or not it bothers other people within the restaurant. So I'm not very respectful in that way. But it brings me a lot of joy. But here's the point of driving, man. A lot of people listening to this, and they're like, I don't want to do any of those things. Right? I don't want to club or dance. This guy's a freak. But that's the point of driving. Where's your list? Have you ever thought to make one? Right? It's just most people don't. And I think that's so huge. And when you ask yourself all these questions, like, why are we saving up till retirement if Kobe Bryant died at 41? How does this make any sense? And then you start to just realize that, hey, wait a second, the only rules that make sense are the ones that you create for yourself.
Why the only rules that make sense are the ones you create for yourself? Okay. Why do you think that's true?
No one pushes my logic this far. This is fun. I think the reason, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the reason why it makes sense for you to create your own rules, and obviously there's some rules that everyone should follow, but I meant more in generally, like the story is the one that you should write your own story, essentially, as another way of paraphrasing that. But I think the reason why is because every individual human experience is so unique that it makes no sense for you to only rely. Obviously, use other people's stories as motivation, as guides, because I've used thousands of other people's stories, even including this conversation, to mold. But at the end of the day, we need to realize that as humans, since there's not going to be another version of us, it's impossible for our stories to be 100% similar. Could be 90% similar, but 100% similar to the next person, it's not possible. So it's that uniqueness, that single case scenario that forces us to essentially create that version for ourselves, since it's impossible to do the alternative.
Here's what I'm hearing in this. Years ago, I ran an e-commerce company, and we sold heating and air conditioning equipment to consumers, furnaces, air conditioners, and the like, and lawyers and dealers and distributors would tell us you can't do that because people will put their stuff in wrong, and they'll blow themselves up. Turns out that never happened. And in fact, the warranty claims on people putting their own, just laymen, amateurs, putting in their own equipment were half the industry average of dealers, trained dealers, putting in equipment.
Wow.
Which is interesting. It's interesting to me because a person who doesn't know anything but cares a lot about it will go further to understand how to do it right than a person who knows a lot about it but doesn't care.
Ooh, that's good.
And I think what you're saying in this idea of your truths, the only truths that matter are the ones that you make for yourself. The only truths that matter are the ones you internalize and believe. And if you don't believe it, you just know it to be true from somebody else. You don't understand why it's true for you. Eventually that truth will fail because you don't have the backstop. You don't have the foundation. You don't understand why that truth is true. And you just believe it to be true. It's just a habit you go through. And if there's something to be learned from that idea of 50% of people change their brand affiliations because their habits changed. The same is true of their truths. When their habits change, all of a sudden it's like, oh, who am I? What am I doing? And now all of a sudden you have significant swings in people's working out of the things that they believe.
That's powerful, man. I love that. This whole idea of when you don't understand, it helps you, like you try and figure it out. Whereas I think what I'm hearing what you're saying is like the fear of failure is just as, the lack of understanding is actually less dangerous than the thinking that you understand everything.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's true. And each of us has this opportunity through key times in our lives, and it happens about every 7 years or so, 7 to 10 years, that people go through these significant shifts in their own psyche, and we go through these stages in our lives where certain things matter at certain times. We have the opportunity to kind of reset, to rethink, to build on whatever came last, to figure out what we're going to create going forward. It's the folks who don't spend that time in reflection who screw up the next 10 years or the next 14 years because they don't know where they came from. They don't know why they're here, and they don't know where they're going. It is the opportunity to step back, and whether you step back daily, whether you step back weekly or monthly, or at those key times, to reflect, to kind of stand outside yourself and say, okay, looking in, let's assess this situation. I think we do ourselves a disservice when we miss those opportunities.
I completely agree with you. Man, you're such a wizard, man. I love it. Good stuff. You're like, whoosh, whoosh.
I've got 43 years under my belt.
Nah, there you go. I guess I got a lot more to go.
I've done a lot of stuff, made a lot of mistakes.
Same here.
Had a lot of successes, which is why I love this Coffee with Humans thing. Just having a conversation with anybody. The only rule is no sales calls, because underneath the surface of whoever a person purports to be is an individual with hopes and dreams and thinking about things that we know nothing about. Most people are unwilling to uncover it for themselves, much less anybody else. And I call it a sacred space. I call it a sacred moment when two people can gather in the same space and have the opportunity to create or recreate ourselves. It's that is a profound place to be, and it shouldn't be ever. I don't think it should ever be taken lightly. And I'm certainly have taken it lightly, but it is profound. Whether you're out clubbing, I love clubbing. I'll go club with you. I love a good dance club, man. And I sing karaoke. I sing karaoke in 2 languages.
Pretty good. What's the second one?
Italian.
Oh, buongiorno, come stai?
Mm-hmm. I know one song in Italian.
Oh, okay, too bad. I don't speak Italian either. I just tried to impress you.
I know. I was like, mm-hmm. He knows the song. So it's interesting that it's interesting if you look at the commonalities, similarities between people across cultures. The same key questions come out when you really scrape away all the stuff that we think we're living for. Same key questions come out for ourselves. Well, dude, anything else you want to leave us with as we're closing down on our final minute?
Yeah, I always like to end with my favorite quote, which I think kind of ties in this sort of. Maybe it's just a different energy. But the way that I say it is my number one piece of advice for folks out there is be insane or be the same. If you want to be like everyone else, that's totally fine. But if you want to do something cool with your life, whether it's creating a sacred space for people to have authentic relationships and connections, or being a kid making YouTube videos on public speaking, or even a bakery that's gluten-free, it doesn't really matter what the thing is. Understand that the only way to do that is to be crazy in many ways. I guess in relation to conventional societal wisdom, with me, I did a lot of weird shit in my life, and you clearly have done the same. And in my opinion, I think the way that you know you're being successful is once you realize that every decision that you make only makes sense to the only person that matters, which is you. And if you do it that way, I think you'll be successful.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for joining me on Coffee with Humans. Thanks to all of our visitors and viewers and listeners. Have a great day. One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the raw conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls. This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.